You are a small business owner who understands the importance of good online marketing. You have some social profiles, you have a website check, and you have your Google Analytics set up, and you have a strategy in place. So the next big step is making sure that that website is working well for you. Your website is your online home base, and if you don't have a brick and mortar, it's like your online version of a brick and mortar store. So you really want to make sure that everything is working well for that website of yours. So one big thing is you want to make sure people aren't leaving your website frustrated. Of course, there's other technical things that can be going on with your website, and we want to assume that your website, has good content and things like that. Like you are trying to attract the kind of people who are your ideal clients. But you also want to make sure you're avoiding some of those common pitfalls that could be, pushing away people who really are potential clients or even current clients of yours because they're just so frustrated in trying to be a user of your website. So I have a list of 9 common reasons why people might leave your website frustrated. So you want to make sure that you take care of these things so that you are giving an optimal experience to them and keeping them as happy as possible. So in no particular order, the first reason that someone might leave your website frustrated is because your site loads slowly. There are lots of reasons why your site could load slow, and there are page speed testers. There's free websites, and you can literally just Google that, like page speed time or load speed time, and input your URL or even like specific URLs to specific pages if you feel like your home page is working well, but maybe there's some other pages on your site that seem to be slow. So people are impatient. It always seems to like maybe mobile goes a little bit more slowly than desktop, and mobile use has only been increasing and will continue to increase. So you want to make sure your site loads fast. You want to make sure that ideally people will say like 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. I know that probably seems mind-blowing to a lot of people, but the quicker it loads, the better. A big reason why your site might load slow is if you just aren't with a good hosting company. You could have a website that has a bunch of huge pictures that is trying to load, or a bunch of video files that are directly uploaded and the videos are trying to load. You could be trying to pull in feeds from outside of your website, like say you have an Instagram feed or a Twitter feed and you're trying to show stuff in real time. That can affect load time. You could have too many plugins on your website. There's lots of reasons why your website might be loading slowly. And I do recommend speaking with your website developer about ways to improve that if you're finding that that this is a problem. The next thing you want to make sure to address is that if your website is not mobile responsive. So mobile responsive is just saying that your site will adjust appropriately depending upon whatever device is viewing it. So it could be phones, it could be tablets, and maybe you're an iPhone user, but there's lots of people who are on Android. So each screen is a little bit different, and you want to make sure that the content, the pictures, the contact forms, if you do have videos showing, all of that stuff, you want to make sure that it is working correctly and laid out correctly. And it's not like this half of the video is showing and you can't see the other half of it, or same thing with your contact form when you are viewing it on mobile. So mobile responsiveness is key. People want to know that they can easily find what they're looking for. People have been trained over time that websites have certain common elements. There are certain common places to always look for those certain questions that they might have. So if you don't have like your contact information, for example, in really obvious places, well, people would expect to find it. If you are like, say, a restaurant, people probably want to see, click here for reservations or click here for your menu. If people have to go out of their way and they can't just easily locate that kind of information, they're going to leave frustrated. Websites that are too vague that are vague or provide too little information are also not good. They're not good from the customer, and they're not going to be good for SEO and helping your website rank either. I had a client come to me who had someone local to him tell him, oh, simple is best, strip down all your content. His leads all dried up. And I said, no, like people can't even tell what it is that you offer, what it is that you sell, because so much had been stripped away. We need to add all that stuff back in, and then your SEO is going to start working for you. And then I just spoke with him after he did that a few months ago, and he was like, oh my God, I have more clients now than I can keep. My web traffic is up. My leads have jumped up a bunch. Like, it's completely because he improved the content on his website, and then that was supporting with the SEO that he had done on his website. So people want to be able to understand who you are, what you do, why you do it, what you have to offer. Being like vague about it or thinking that just because it's streamlined and looks good, you got to give people a reason to care. Otherwise, they're not going to buy from you. So being too stripped down with all your messaging is not going to be helpful for you. If your website layout is confusing, this sort of ties into people not being able to find what they're looking for. But even just like the navigation and location of your pages can be confusing. Or using cutesy names for page names. If people don't immediately just know what that page is called and what kind of information they can find on that page, they're going to leave because there's other sites and other businesses that do it better, and they just don't care to put in the extra time to jump through those extra hurdles. So you don't want to be making people work hard. And I know that might sound silly, but yes, extra clicks to get to some place where they should just be able to use a single click to get there. That's a lot to ask in this day and age, whether or not you agree, but that's just the fact of the online habits of, lots of people. Next, I would say if your site looks like it was made in 1987 and not updated since 1987, even if it's not a new or potential, client of yours, it just gives a really bad impression. It makes it seem like you don't have your act together and you're not running your business very well if you've let something like your website get so out of date. It just kind of, people have takeaways from that would influence their opinion of your overall business. So you got to make sure that your site looks like it's halfway up to snuff, just visually. Tons of pop-ups on your site, or pop-ups that you can't easily get rid of or close out. It's pretty standard to have some kind of pop-up just to say, like, subscribe to our email list, and people are used to that. But if you have, pop-up after pop-up, Google doesn't like it either, so it's not helpful for search rankings. But that just really aggravates people, especially when you think about mobile use. It can be even harder to tap in the exact right spot to close those pop-ups on a smartphone. Next, I would say cheesy stock photos. Yes, everyone uses stock photos. There are definitely certain stock photo repositories that are better than others, or if it's a picture that you yourself have been like, oh my God, I've been seeing this for the last 10 years. Other people are thinking that too. So don't just try to go for free if you're looking for stock photos of your website. Look at some paid options, because that would be helpful for you, and they're usually not as frequently used by people. And if you go to some of those paid sites too, you usually have some better and more precise options, instead of just having some like general business people looking like they're in a business meeting type photo or something along those lines. Lastly, if your blog or your online catalog is at a different URL, if it's not like yourdomain.com/blog or yourdomain.com/shop, it's on a different URL, and people are on your shop or on your blog, they don't want to have to like go back to somehow get back to your main website. It's really inconvenient for them. Everything should be on one URL where they can easily navigate between different pages of your site. Google also doesn't like that. You're not going to get all the extra Google juice you would for all those extra links if it's not part of your root domain. So it's good for Google and it's good for, you know, customer usability. So these would be the 9 big reasons why people leave your website frustrated. So as long as you know that, you know, you've ticked all those boxes and you've checked on all these things, then you should be pretty good to go. So if you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. And I do have a related blog post that I'll link up in case you're more of a reader. And you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks.